Chapter 8. The squall. The afternoon had been unnervingly calm, the kind of glassy stillness sailors mistrust more than thunder. The Providence moved under a lazy wind, her canvas hanging in soft, idle curves. Men worked quietly, grateful for the lull after days of hard sailing. First Officer Hale stood at the rail, scanning the horizon. Nothing but a faint haze. No swell. No omen. Yet something in the air felt wrong, a thickness, a taste of metal on the tongue. Below, Captain Hawthorne had retired to his cabin, trusting Hale to manage the watch. He had said as much with a rare softness. "You've got the deck, Mr. Hale. She's in good hands." Hale had taken the words as both compliment and weight. Then the wind died entirely, and the world held its breath. A single gust hit the Providence like a slap, not a breeze, a violent, concentrated shove that snapped the foresail taut and sent two men stumbling. Hale's head jerked up. The haze on the horizon had thickened into a bruise-colored wall. "Hands aloft," Hale barked. "Reef the topsails now," the crew scrambled. The wind rose again, harder, angrier. Lines whipped. Canvas boomed. The ship heeled sharply to starboard. Below, Hawthorne felt the lurch and paused mid-sentence in his logbook. But he did not rise. Hale can handle a squall, he thought. He did not yet know this was no squall. The storm arrived like a falling axe. The first wave hit before the sails were half reefed. It crashed over the bow with a roar that drowned every voice on deck. Water swept across the planks, knocking a young deckhand clean off his feet. Hale lunged, grabbing the boy by the collar before the sea could take him. "Hold fast," Hale shouted, dragging him upright. "Secure that line." Lightning split the sky, not a fork, but a sheet of white fire that turned the world stark and colorless. Thunder followed instantly, a cannon blast overhead. The storm had arrived in full, and it was monstrous. Hale's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. "Helm 2 points into the wind. Keep her nose up or she'll broach." The helmsman fought the wheel, muscles straining. Rain hammered the deck sideways. The Providence groaned under the strain, her timbers flexing like a living thing in pain. Another wave rose, taller than the bowsprit, taller than the deckhouse, a moving cliff of black water. "Brace," Hale roared. The wave crashed over them, sweeping 3 men toward the rail. Hale dove, catching one by the wrist. Another sailor grabbed Hale's belt, anchoring the chain of bodies as the sea tried to tear them away. For a moment, all 4 hung suspended between ship and ocean. Then the wave receded, leaving them gasping but alive. At last, Captain Hawthorne burst from his cabin, coat half-buttoned, hair plastered to his forehead. "What in God's name?" He stopped. The scene before him was beyond anything he had imagined. Hale at the center of the storm, issuing orders with the precision of a seasoned commander, men moving in desperate coordination around him. Hawthorne saw instantly that Hale had saved the ship from broaching and perhaps from capsizing entirely. "Mr. Hale," Hawthorne shouted over the wind. "What do you need?" Hale didn't hesitate. "Get below and secure the gun deck." If those cannons break loose, we're finished. For a heartbeat, Hawthorne stared at him, the inversion of command undeniable. Then he nodded and vanished below. The storm reached its peak. Waves hammered the hull. The masts shuddered. The rigging screamed under the strain. Hale's voice was hoarse from shouting, but he kept the men moving, kept the Providence angled just enough into the wind to ride the worst of the seas. A final, towering wave rose ahead, the largest yet. Hale steadied himself. "Helm, hold her steady. All hands, lash yourselves." The wave struck. The Providence climbed it like a mountain, her bow rising impossibly high. For a moment she hung at the crest, trembling. Then she slid down the far side, groaning but intact. The storm began to ease, the wind softened, the rain thinned. The sea, though still angry, no longer tried to devour them whole. Hale exhaled for the first time in what felt like hours. The deck was a ruin of tangled lines, broken spars, and exhausted men. But they were alive. Every one of them. Captain Hawthorne emerged again, soaked and pale. "Mr. Hale," he said quietly, "you saved this ship." Hale shook his head. "The men saved her." "I just know," Hawthorne interrupted. "You commanded her, and you commanded them. I will not forget it." The crew, battered and bruised, looked to Hale with something new in their eyes, not just respect, but trust. The kind that only forms when a man proves himself in the teeth of the sea. Above them, the clouds began to break. A thin line of sunlight touched the horizon.